Oh,
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Dead Funny Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. I totally caught my other two hosts on here completely off guard. Sometimes I do a countdown, sometimes I don't. But we're fucking here, me, Kelsey, and JoJo, with another fucking podcast.
Chris usually at least is like, all right, ready up, or I'm hitting record, like something. He was just like, yeah. Okay, what's up, everybody?
And it was not even like a smooth what's up either. Like, I totally fucked that one like all up. So
yeah, that's what I was reacting to. I knew it was coming, but
I figured there were going to be minimum 4 more words before it turned into the what's up, everybody, but apparently not. Hi, what's up, everybody?
We're jumping right in. Oh, Jesus man. Christ. So, I have something to complain about.
Everyone is shocked and appalled. What could you possibly have to complain about? You are the least complaining man in existence. What has irritated you this week, Chris?
I'm trying to buy a PS5. So there's the first part of that. Mm-hmm. I'm in all these inner fucking circles about fucking tips and shit like that, whatever all that nonsense is. So I guess first thing I'd like to say is Sony and Microsoft, you have completely let people down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You have 100% let people down at this point. The fact that nothing is being done at all about this whole scalper situation and that we're almost a complete year later and this is still an issue is absolutely insane. Second off, any website that uses that fucking CAPTCHA shit where it's like, are you a robot? It's bullshit. Like, because robots are still buying, obviously. Fucking obviously. So it doesn't work. So we can just get rid of that. It doesn't work. I don't know how me selecting fucking 6 fire hydrants is going to tell you whether or not I'm a fucking bot. But the other bots got through. That's the issue. I'm very upset right now. Okay? We'll start there. So, as I said, I'm trying to get a PlayStation 5. There were some big tips about Amazon was going to drop a huge stock they've been holding up for a while. That didn't actually end up happening. They decided to push it back until later because they weren't happy that the leak came out, and they're trying to do it without people knowing about it, so that way hopefully random people are actually finding these consoles online versus leaks going out and all these fucking scalpers getting together and getting their fucking bots ready directly at the time to buy it, because that's what Walmart did today. And man, I don't like buying from Walmart. It's not a corporation I support. Walmart's a piece of shit. I don't like buying from Walmart, but I wanted my PlayStation. Dude, they have the dumbest fucking system ever fucking created. They release them in batches every 10 minutes. It's fucking stupid. You have no idea how many they have. You have no idea how many are in these batches. It could be 5 for all I know. So I'm sitting here wasting my fucking time on possible, 2 batches. It's fucking dumb. It's so stupid. I literally got it lined up because everybody's like, oh, you got to cheat the system. You got to cheat the system. Like, you got to try to, like, get in there and refresh the page. So that way, like, you have the add to your cart where it's highlighted. So that way, whenever the next batch comes out, you could just spam the add to cart and then get it. But then the CAPTCHA comes up. And this is the part that pisses me off because the bots go straight past the CAPTCHA every time. So everybody who's part of this huge community that are all working together to try to get PlayStations, everybody's going, wow, 0.5 seconds and the batch is sold out. 0.5 seconds, the batch is sold out. No one's getting them. No one's fucking getting them. The bots are. Because the CAPTCHA isn't stopping the bots. Because they can get it done like that. We can't. So every time I got one in my cart, I had to do this fucking, tell me how many fire hydrants are in this picture. And it's not just the one where it's like, select, move forward. Okay, cool. You're actually a fucking person. It's the refresh one where it goes through like fucking 4 pages. I'm like, I'm never going to get a PlayStation. I'm never going to get a PlayStation this way on Walmart. It's not going to happen. I literally gave up. I was like, fuck it. I did it like 3 times. I gave up. And when I mean 3 times, I tried for 3 separate batches. I honestly probably tried for like 6 batches. But still, I tried for fucking 3 different batches. It's fucking stupid. And for everybody out there that's upset that you had to pay a lot of money to get your PlayStation or your Xbox because of scalpers, so you had to pay extra money to get it, I don't want to hear a single word from you. You're worse than the scalpers. You are 100% worse than the scalpers. You are the reason they continue to do this. If no one would buy the fucking systems, they would have to eat all that. Because Sony and Microsoft have both came out and said, because we understand the scalping issue right now, we are no longer putting warranties on any of those consoles. So any consoles that's been bought out, there's no warranty on them at all. Because these scalpers are keeping them sitting in these fucking garages and fucking selling them whenever they finally get out there. You're getting a broken system by the time you get it. And then what? You're going to send it back to Xbox and they're like, oh yeah, I'll fucking take care of it. No, they're not going to. So fuck it. I'm done. I'm done. If it comes on Amazon, great. I'll get it on Amazon. But other than that, I hate this dumbass policy. This has never made sense to me. Even whenever I worked retail and we did it, and it was so stupid. If I call a GameStop and or Best Buy, I'm not just throwing dirt at GameStop, even though I know I love doing that on this podcast. But if I call a GameStop or a fucking Best Buy or whatever, and you have systems coming. And all I do is ask, hey, what's the stock look like? Do you have some coming in? For you to go, that's not information I can give you. Do you just not want money? Like, is that how that happens? You just don't want money? I never understood that process. Like, you're getting systems in. You want to sell them. You don't even have to tell me how many. You could just say, we're supposed to get a shipment at this moment. There might not be some here by the time you get there. That's good enough. But to literally go, I can't give you that information. I'm not going to go to fucking Best Buy every goddamn day until I finally get a PlayStation. I'll be doing that every fucking day for like fucking next 2 years probably. Like, that makes no fucking sense.
Is the logic behind that particular mechanism that they don't want to be robbed? Like, they're trying to make sure that their shipment actually makes it inside the store and people aren't just, like, taking it off the truck? No. It was, whenever I worked, it was more of a aspect of, one, you have employees who are telling people this because they want to secure their own system. And that's breaking protocol because you're not supposed to do that. One. Yeah. Two, you have managers that are like, I don't want a line outside. Once again, you don't want my money? Like, if I'm getting these, because once again, as JoJo pointed out on the podcast, because I didn't fucking know this, these fucking game developers, they don't make shit off these consoles. The retail people do. They're the people that make the money off these consoles. Why would you not want to sell them? If I was getting a fucking shipment of something in, I'd be fucking amazed to have a fucking goddamn line outside. Be like, fuck yeah, dude, I can get rid of all this and just turn it straight into fucking cash flow? Great! Well, you run out, and then you still have 15 people in line who are really pissed because they've been waiting for an hour, and then you just tell them, we don't have any more, and then they get angry, and they try to loot you or your store.
And once...
Like, that's, I think...
I feel like...
I'm not saying that's going to happen every time, but I think they're trying to avoid that. That's what I'm trying to say.
I believe the point that they don't care about whether or not you spend your money there because they're going to sell these things regardless, I guess, is true. Like... You don't have enough for everyone, so what the fuck do they care?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It would be different if this was like an item where it's like, I sell out, but everybody else is having them in stock. But everybody's having this issue. Like, literally everybody's having this issue. So, if I'm able to pull some money my way, I mean, I'm fucking putting a goddamn pallet outside. Like, come fucking grab a PlayStation. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. I don't know. Like I said, it would be different if, like I said, they addressed it with the aspect of, we're getting a stock in. I can't tell you how much, and there might not be some by the time you get here. That's my own risk at that point. I have a 50% chance to show up and be disappointed. That's on me. I understand. Not everybody thinks with common sense, and people just get upset and mad at the fucking retailers and think that they're to fucking blame and all this other bullshit. I understand that. I completely get that, and that's. I guess that's what the world we live in. I don't fucking know, but. I don't know.
So here's my hot tip: is you have to like break down and buy a fucking bundle from GameStop because I guess those sell out.
That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. That's the tip I got.
On my PlayStation is I got. Like, now I own an NBA game I don't really want, but it was better than like.
And that's
dealing with anything else.
My issue with that tip is that in the actual like. The thought of, okay, we don't want to help out scalpers, so we're not going to pay any extra money for these systems. That makes sense. The problem is that you have these people who go, you know what? I'm not buying a fucking combo for a game I don't want because that's $50 extra. but I'm going to spend $200 more and get a fucking system that doesn't have the game I don't want. What? That makes no sense. It makes no sense. Yeah. I was like, please, you can give me fucking My Little Pony, Barbie's Adventure. I don't give a shit. I just want the PlayStation. I'll throw the game away. I don't care. I'll fucking eat $50. I'm not going to eat $200 or fucking $500 for just the fucking system. Are you kidding me? I literally saw people on fucking Facebook who sell them the PlayStation, just the PlayStation. And then they're all like, you can pay an extra $200 and have the controller too. What? I mean, they're just getting bold about this shit now because there's no repercussions for this. There's zero so they don't give a fuck. They can do whatever they want, and people are still buying it. Whenever that drop was happening, and this is how I know people are still buying it. Yeah. When that drop was happening for Amazon, and they didn't drop, everybody knows the price of the PlayStation. If you're going to go, there's not a single person in this world who's going to go buy a fucking system and doesn't know how much money they're going to spend. A system is not just like a $20 here or $30 there. It's a fucking $500 most likely commitment. You at least know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
$3.99, $4.99. When Amazon didn't drop at the time that they said they were going to, a whole bunch of scalpers took all their PlayStations off and then dropped them at that time to make it look like Amazon was blurring them back up. JoJo, I cannot express to you how many people bought $900 and $1,200 consoles. And we're all like, yay, I finally got my PlayStation. Literally showing their confirmation, taking screenshots, showing their confirmation and going, I hope you guys got one too. And then people going, yeah, that was a scalper. And you're like, no, it wasn't. It came from Amazon. Bro, resellers on Amazon, what are you talking about? Oh my God, dude.
So, Chris, whenever you're ranting, just so you know, we always need to make sure that you're capturing your audio because Discord shuts you down, so your rants are just like, and it's pretty entertaining for me, but my guess is it would be less entertaining for the audience.
I think my threshold that I have for Streamlabs is a lot higher than my threshold for Discord, so I think Discord shuts me off, so you guys don't get to hear it, but Streamlabs, I have that like maxed all the way out, so it hears me.
Really? Good.
So, on the video, they get to hear me be pissy the entire time. And I'm not even that mad about not getting the PlayStation because, once again, I don't need one. I mean, I would like to have one in June, but realistically, I don't need one until either 16 or 7 is coming out. But it just so happens that at this point in time, I would like to get it before Final Fantasy VII Integrated comes out would be great. And I thought, why not? And to know, I just didn't know how bad the system was. I really did not understand how bad that whole fucking process was until I had to go through it myself. And it was fucking so stupid. I mean, I literally had me and my significant other in here because she was trying to help me secure one. And we couldn't even get it fast enough. 2 people trying on the same account on multiple different devices could not get it faster than the bots. That's a fucking problem.
Yeah, if you've got a CAPTCHA to try to prevent bots and it's actually letting the bots through and stopping the everyday people, that's you have royally fucked up.
Yeah. And I just don't understand how there's not more pressure from the game companies at this point because the official reports came out. Once again, like I pointed out, JoJo's talked about the fact they don't make money off these consoles. They make money by the fact that people buy games to play on these consoles. That's where they make their fucking money. And they came out with their official reports, and the ratios are fucking terrible to how many consoles have been bought versus how many games. And they're like, why aren't people buying games? It's because they don't have a fucking console. They're all sitting in a fucking garage in the goddamn UK waiting for people to spend $2,000 on a console. Then they finally get the console, and they're like, well, fuck, I'm broke. I can't fucking buy a game anyway. So, fuck.
Also, both of them have hedged their bets and are releasing every game. Like everything's coming out on PS4 and PS5 at the same time. So even you don't need it technically.
I guess.
And no one needs it really, except for the Demon's Souls remake.
Well, Integrated it's only going to be on 5.
Yeah, I mean
so
by then,
I have
sure.
To have it.
There's stuff. But
you say by then, and I used to use the same words. But let me tell you something, JoJo. June is coming right around the fucking corner. Yeah, it is now starting to be crunch time for me at this point. There's no more by then for me anymore.
Yeah.
Thank you, Square Enix, for telling me Integrated's coming out in June versus, we'll just release shit whenever the second one comes out. Then I was like, oh, yeah, by then, fucking, they'll have this whole shit figured out. I'll be able to just walk into a store and pick a PlayStation off the fucking shelf. No, I won't.
Apparently not.
I would keep a watch out for when they have it on the Sony website also, because they like have a line, like a queue system where it's like.
Well, they send you invites.
Yeah. So like that might be.
That's their way of beating the bot system, because they only do one per invite, and so you sign up for an invite, and then when they finally have one, they'll shoot you an invite, and then you can get that way, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I should sign up for it, because regardless, at the end of the day, what's it going to hurt? I mean, if they finally send me one, and I already have one, I can just be like, yeah, no, I don't need it. Get to whoever's next to me, so.
I bet Walmart's the worst about it, right?
Worst, dude.
They don't have anyone, like, programming things. Like, they don't give a shit about any of this.
I can't tell you how infuriating it is to literally be sitting there. I mean, I'm pretty sure I need to replace the control and the F5 on my goddamn keyboard at this point, and just refreshing the fuck out of a page the minute before, like let's say 4 o'clock, and then as soon as 4 o'clock hits, see the add to cart, click the add to cart, and then just watch it load, and then CAPTCHA, and you're just like, boom, done. Error adding this to cart. This is now sold out. And then it kicks you out of that page. Then you go back into it and it's like, next batch will be at 4:10. And then you have to wait 10 minutes for the next batch. And then 10 minutes for the next batch. And then the next batch. They did that for 2 hours. 2 hours they were doing batches. The fuck out of here, dude. It's like they realistically
I
just
got
can't.
really lucky with the PS5. But I tried and failed to get the Xbox like a dozen times until it finally worked out. Like, that is an obnoxious fucking system on any website.
And it's just nuts, because like I've never had to deal with this before.
Traffic, so also like breaks.
I realize this may be a dumb question, but why in the hell can't you pre-order the console at this point? Like,
because it's already out.
Your order. Yes, I get that, but nobody has one. So just set it up to where you can order it, and then they will ship it to you when it is done. Like,
trust me, me and 98% of the internet agrees with you that would be a great system to implement, Kelsey. We're on your side. I'm not arguing with you here. Yeah, I'm not arguing with you here. I completely agree, but that's the answer I got back was, well, it's already out, so you can't pre-order it. Apparently fucking not, because you can't find it anywhere. I agree with you. I am 100% on your side in this one. I would love to pre-order a PS5 right now, take my money right now, and tell me in a month from now I'll get a console. Okay, completely fine. 2 months, fuck it, I don't care. At least I know I have one on the way. I don't give a shit. But this whole, hey, show up between fucking this time and then 4 hours this way this time, and maybe you'll have a shot of beating the 10,000 bots that are going to beat you out every fucking time. Like, there's no point. And the part that pisses me off the most is that these fucking scalpers are cocky about it. Like, there's literally a whole documentary series about this. And they're literally interviewing these motherfuckers because there's no repercussions for this. And they're just sitting there like, yeah, no, we turned it into a whole ring. We hired some guys, and basically they have quotas of how many systems they need to steal right off before as soon as it comes out, or they get kicked out and they have to leave. Like, they don't care. This is a legitimate professional business at this point. That's fucking insane to me. That's it. What happened to an aspect of like, hey, you can't get this and then just fucking resell it? I thought that was illegal. Like, is that not a thing? Legitimately, is that not a thing?
Like sometimes with tickets, it's against the rules, but like, I think with physical goods, no, I guess not. It's an unimpeded market.
Well, that's not accurate, because if you get and immediately resell a car, you actually have to pay tax on, like, there's special rules with certain types of property. Typically, I think real property is another one where that works that way. And so, and by real property, I mean like realty, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, but it's on specific types of property, not all property.
I just feel like every single time I look at something, I see that whole not for resale. You know what I mean? And I just figured that it was a little bit more like of an actual rule with legal. Yeah, you know. Yeah. Apparently not.
Usually with like official, like, hey, we gave you a display copy, GameStop. Here's your official thing you can show off in the store, and that'll have the not for resale sticker. Or like the N64, my Ocarina of Time has a sticker on it that says not for resale, because technically I stole it from Blockbuster and gave them my copy of the game back when I rented it.
There you go.
So like it's that kind of stuff.
I like how cocky you are and sure that Blockbuster isn't going to come after you.
Yeah, I mean the statute of limitations. I gave them back a newer cartridge. They came out better. Like it's just my save data was on the Blockbuster cartridge, so I wanted to keep it.
Also, does Blockbuster still exist in any significant way anymore?
I think there's the one, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Cause I know their Twitter's active. I know that much. So I remember all the fucking. I
desperately love that their Twitter is active.
Well, when the GameStop stocks and shit were happening, fucking Blockbuster like commented on it. Was like, they did like the winky face, and it was like, "Do what you're gonna do, Reddit. Do what you're gonna do." And it's like, dude, no one's coming to help you. It's not happening. No one is gonna go.
You die.
Blockbuster, we need to save them. Like, no, you're gone. Like, just fuck off. Like, no one.
We thought we pulled the plug on you. Somehow your organs are still functioning. You can die at any time.
I wonder if they let you pre-order consoles. If that would just mean the bots would then pre-order 70.
Do all the pre-orders? Yeah. Like the bots would buy up all the pre-orders.
They'd just be sending them all to the same house for like 4 months.
Well, here's the thing, though. If they did that and they were just like, but if you order a whole bunch, we're only going to ship out one at a time, and we're going to go one through your order. And if they order one a bunch of times, that's fine, because eventually everybody will get them, and then they'll have an entire stock full that they've paid for, and people won't be buying them from them. Like, I feel like there are ways you could prevent that.
I programmed 100,000 individual bots separately on my computers to then do it. And that, or something. I don't fucking know.
No,
I mean, they never let you, I guess. Even before this was like a huge issue, like, I don't think they would let you. You couldn't get a Wii for a while. And this was like 10 years ago. And
yeah. Well, that was just due to fucking them not being able to make the system fast enough. Because that was our first chance of like moving with those sensors and all the other shit that came with the Wii. And Nintendo had a hard time keeping that in rotation, so they had issues with that. But the Switch, everybody falls back to like, well, the Switch was just hard. It's like, but once again, that was a situation of COVID hit. Everybody knew that they were going to need something to entertain themselves. So then everybody just went out and bought all the Switches they could, and then started reselling them for a fucking higher dollar value. Like, that's literally what happened. So it's not necessarily the same, but it's kind of the fucking same thing. And it's like, just it's fucking nuts, dude.
It's just it's way worse because like there's always kind of been launch supply issues for anything, but then this is like compounded way more this time because of COVID and because of the shortage of materials, and also because you can't go to a store. Like that's the other thing is like I got my Wii U by just driving to different Targets.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you can't really do that now because they don't have physical stock. Yeah, it's a bad scene.
And there's an element of desperation here, and I think this is one of the things that sends me through the roof. People want gaming systems because they need to stay entertained so they can stay indoors and not, catch a deadly illness and or transmit deadly illness to their relatives. And that adds an element of desperation, and people are just like, I smell desperation, time to make money. And those are the people I want to just kick in the crotch very, very hard. I would like to launch them slightly back by how hard I kick them in the crotch.
Oh, yeah.
But see, and that's the thing.
Dirtbags were trying to resell hand sanitizer like a year ago.
That's a thing though. Like what I would like to see happen would be like whenever it's like customers and shit who are going to these stores and trying to fucking get these consoles, like for them to be like, hey, look, we always try to hit you with these rewards programs, right? It costs you no money. Sign up for it. You can cancel it after a month, whatever. But when we get these systems in stock, we're only going to be sending out an email to the people who have the rewards. That's what my company did. Because whenever COVID hit, everybody was trying to buy up all of our masks, all of our gloves, all of our everything. And at my company, our online store has real live stock. We literally turned all those numbers to zero. Everything COVID related, all that to zero. And then sent out a mass thing to all of our customers saying, if you need any of this, we're trying to protect the people who are actually needing this for their actual work and are considered essential. So if you need this stuff and you're continuing to do business with us, great. And even if people found out about that and were calling in, you had to have a history of buying this stuff from us in order for us to actually send it to you. If you were getting like massive amounts, like obviously if it's like, families that are like, oh, I'm worried about traveling, we would hook them up with something, obviously. But like if you're trying to order like, 100 fucking cases of fucking N95 respirators, it's like you never used them before, so you don't need them now. Like, just know. So I would love for fucking stores to do that, that'd be great because it doesn't cost anything, and they have your email address. So at that point, they could just be like, PS5s are coming in stock. Boom, mass email to all these fucking people on this list. Done.
That is weird. I'm surprised GameStop isn't like, hey, if you're a Power Up Rewards member,
something that you actually spend money for, right?
Like now would be the time for them to be like, hey, if you're and like, GameStop would then be relevant.
Yeah, I wonder if Sony or whatever is just like, hey, we have rules for how you're allowed to sell this thing to people, and you can't put it behind another wall or what? Because that would make so much sense, I would think.
Right.
I don't know.
And I'm actually mad that we just thought of this because Kelsey just pointed out the fact that, like, it would make GameStop relevant again, and I'm mad to know that I actually still pay $15 a month or whatever the fuck it is to have a Power Up Rewards member to a store I fucking despise. So, fuck. I'm pretty sure I haven't gotten a Game Informer in like a year. So, I mean...
Which is interesting because I know Scott's still getting them.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
when they were like, hey, you want the digital version? I'd say, no, keep sending me a physical version because, like, you owe me. It's whatever. I've earned paper.
What I used to do is when I'd walk in there, they always have the ones out there, and I'd just show them my card, and I'd grab one and walk out the fucking door with it. Like it was going into a comic book shop. I just grab Game Informer and walk out the door with it. All right, sleep. I like to know what the fuck's going on in the fucking universe that I spend a lot of my fucking time in. It's pretty cool. Versus go into
all the time, and then
weird
the
sites and shit.
So now I don't. Just,
yeah.
They get their news too late.
Scott still gets them. Scott still reads them. Yeah. And we have friends with babies and they visit and we have to childproof our house because babies are like, hey, we want to find everything and put it in our mouth. Mm-hmm. And so Scott's protective of his stuff. Totally fair. Totally fine. Oh, but all of these Game Informers that he has going back, like, we have stacks of them, like, to my waist, and my waist is pretty far off the ground, everybody. Like, stacks of these things. And then I'm the one who has to pick up all of these things and move them downstairs to baby-proof them. And at this point, I have moved those Game Informer magazines so many times, I just don't care anymore. And I'm like, I think about just throw them on the ground. I'm like, no, Scott cares about just to put them down gently like a good fucking wife, goddammit.
Why don't you have to leave them downstairs? What do they need to be upstairs for, ever?
You know, that's actually where they are currently sitting because that's the conclusion that I came to after like the sixth time of moving them, and I'm just like, fuck it. Like they're living down here until there's a better reason.
You just need to buy like one of those like fucking 2-drawer file cabinets, the ones that go under a desk, and just throw them in there and be like, here's your fucking precious Game Informers. They can stay under your desk when you want to access them. There you go.
I have asked if they needed to live with us forever, and the response I got was, but there's so much history there. And that was the moment that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to walk away from this conversation.
I get it, and then I kind of don't get it. You know? Like, whenever it's like, for instance, like if they had like an issue and it had like the remake on the fucking cover, I'd be like, oh yeah, I want to keep that, obviously. Like, I still have the fucking, and you probably do too, JoJo, the fucking Zelda one that they did where the whole thing was about the whole lifetime of Zelda, and the front had all that cool fucking Zelda artwork and shit. Yeah, like I kept that one. You know, that makes sense. With the other ones, I just kind of throw them away.
I mean,
at some point, I was subscribed to 3 magazines, so I had like I had Game Informer and Game Pro and Nintendo Power for like 15 years or whatever. So at some point, I decided like, okay, all this stuff from like the mid 2000s, like who gives a shit, and like got rid of that. But like 90s stuff that's like actual like old and kind of neat that I still have. That's like fair. Stuff is like, look, it's Resistance, the Fall of Man. Like,
oh, that's an old game. Holy shit.
In his defense, every time I move them, I pick up a new like part of the stack to move that, and I'm like, oh, cool! I totally forgot that game existed, and so he kind of has a point.
So I got a question for you, since you said that Scott's very protective of his stuff, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm the same way.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Does he loan stuff out to friends? Like a video game, like if somebody wanted a video game, would he loan a video game or like a controller or something like that? Someone's like, oh, I want to play that, and he's not playing it. It's like, can I borrow that video game? Is he okay with like loaning out video games?
I think it would depend on the friend. If it was a friend that, like, in general, yes, but if it was a friend that's known for just being like, like, I don't have a better way of describing it than that. Hopefully you get what I mean. He might say no, but I think that would be hard for him to say no, because just like politeness implies that you're going to say yes to that question kind of thing.
And that's the thing. It's like, because I know how nice Scott is, so I'm trying to imagine him being like, yeah, no, it's not happening. You know what I mean? Like, because that's how I am. Like, I am so big on my stuff. Like, there's a very short list of somebody I'd be like, you know what? Like, I let da-da-da. Like, there's been times where I've thought about, like, whenever we were first doing the Final Fantasy stuff and you came to visit, where I was like, I'd let Kelsey borrow Advent Children. Like, if we physically couldn't, like, get together to watch it together so we could finally finish that shit off. I was like, I'd let her borrow Advent Children. But then it's like, when I think about, like, other things, it's just like, I've had so many people ask me for stuff, and I'm just like, nah, it's not happening. Like, I'm so protective of my shit, it's ridiculous. Oh my gosh, because there used to be people I would let borrow my stuff, and then you would go to their house, like games was the worst, and you would see the disc out. Just out. Not in a case, not in a system. I'm like, oh my god, I want to punch you in the fucking mouth right now. Like, I don't do it.
I'm glad to know I'm on your list of trusted people.
Something that's Final Fantasy related too. Like, that says a fucking lot right there.
I guess. I feel very special.
That's big.
That was one of the ways that I knew that Scott was really into me, because I've told the story of him showing up at my dorm room with his Xbox and the Mass Effect games on top of it and a controller on top, being like, will you play it? And then he left that at my dorm room for me to play it in my own time. Like, the man trusted me with his Xbox and his favorite games.
That's dedication.
I'm like, I think this man's in love with me.
That's dedication.
He also desperately wanted me to like video games. And if he hadn't done that.
He's got one up on me. Yeah, he's got one up on me on that one. I wouldn't have done that shit. I'm like, yeah, you could play when you're in my house, but I'm not leaving my fucking Xbox. I use it. Like, fuck that. No, it's not happening. Like, if I had a second one, maybe. But
he did have two.
Okay, well, then that makes more sense.
He had his own.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be okay with that then. But yeah, if it was my only one, no. I'm not going without video games, so you can fucking... I want to, like, live in the video game room for, like, a day or so. No, fuck you. No, absolutely not. You can come over here and play video games in my house. Not happening.
No, well, Mass Effect's also very long, so once I started playing it, like, I remember when I finished the first one and came for the second one, I ran over to his dorm room with the first one in my hand, and I was like, can I get the second one? And he's like, yeah, absolutely, and he handed it to me, and I left, and he, like, yelled at the hall. He's like, the fuck, come back here and, like, talk to me about what you thought. And I'm like, no! He ran away.
I gotta finish the story!
And so when I came for the third one, about 2 weeks later, he was just like, nope, you gotta talk to me first. Like, you gotta tell me what you think. It was funny. A good time. He created a monster, but it was lovely.
And see, the problem is like, you want to try so hard to get somebody into what it is that you're really into and passionate about. But the problem is that whenever they do pick it up and they also become passionate about it, whenever the new one comes out, then it's like, fuck. Then it starts the whole, like, ugh.
The remake of Mass Effect is coming out here very, very soon, and Scott and I have not yet had the conversation about who gets to play it first.
Ooh.
And I don't know how that conversation's gonna go.
Ouch.
Because as much as I'd love to just be like, you know what, I get off work earlier, so I'll play it until you get off work, and then you can play it kind of thing. As much as I'd love to do that, the place that I would play this game, because we have one screen that's really perfect for it, is right next to where he works all day at home from home. And there's no way I could be there playing it and he would be able to ignore me and do his normal work. Like, that would not happen. So, I don't know. We're gonna have to work that one out. Our nice TV may end up downstairs, so that way we can play this game.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm in the lucky state where, like, my girlfriend is into video games, but, like, her playing anything besides, like, Don't Starve Together is just physically not going to happen. Like, she likes that because she gets to play with, like, me and my family and my friends and stuff. But other than that, like, she's into video games to the point where, like, she likes to watch me play them. That's okay with me. Like, when I was talking about getting my 4 monitors set up, I'm like, it's going to be perfect. And I got my gaming, and I got my streaming, and then over here I can have chat, and then this last monitor, I'm just going to fucking turn to this fucking chair that's over here. So she could just, because she watched me play the entire remake while I was streaming it. So she's sitting next to me, and I have a double jack so I can hook up 2 headphones so she can sit right there and just watch and listen and everything else. And she's already been like, I can't wait for Final Fantasy 16. And I'm like, I'm fucking right there with you. So it's like, because we all know that PS5 is coming right in here. So it's just going to be like, blah. So, but yeah. So I'm lucky in that aspect. Now, if like she got to the point where she wanted to play Final Fantasy, like that's one of the things I'm worried about. Like when my daughter grows up, is that if she does get into Final Fantasy and the new one comes out, it's like, all right, look, fucking, I'm the dad. I got tips, okay? I'm half the reason you're here, damn it. So, kids stay up late. Whenever dad goes to sleep because he's old, then you can fucking play. Just don't let your mom catch you. Oh, man. Yep. So, no, I don't know how to deal with that because the only relationship I ever had where the female was very big into games, we had our own systems, so then I didn't have to worry about it because she could do what she wanted to do. I got to do what I wanted to do. So, yeah. Oh, well. Do not envy Scott or you at this point, that's for sure. Especially with the new version of it coming out. Yeah, I'd be like,
We'll work it out. We'll find something that works for both of us.
Well,
and it doesn't problem solvers.
And it doesn't seem like you guys really care that much about watching the other person play it. Like that doesn't ruin the experience for you.
It does actually. We figured that out.
Really,
with,
it does. Okay.
One of the Lara Croft games when it came out.
Okay.
Or no, it was Lara Croft. I watched him play a bunch of it, and I was like, "Oh, this will be great." And then when I got to play it, like immediately after he was done, he handed me the controller, and I was like back at the start, and I'm like, "I don't want to do this anymore."
Well, not only that, but like with something like Tomb Raider, there's a lot of puzzle solving, so you've already seen all that.
Which did actually cause a slight problem because I am very, very good at puzzles. And there were times that he would be missing something that was abundantly obvious to me, and I'm just like, that's right. It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. And he was like, you cannot solve the puzzle for me, for fuck's sake. And it was like, all right, I see your logic, but it was just very annoying to watch you mess it up. And he's like, woman? He did not say woman. Scott has never said woman to me in his entire life. He would not
I was about to say, that sounds a little out of Scott's character on that one.
That's a little out of
Look here, woman! Alright?
That's how I talk to some women. That is never how Scott has ever talked to me. I realized I was just grossly misrepresenting him.
See Scott just playing Tomb Raider, and she's all like, oh, well, if you move that to the right, he's like, look here, woman, alright? You get in the fucking kitchen, make me a sandwich. Whenever I need your help, I'll let you know. That would never happen.
Never ever in a million years. My husband is not a misogynist asshole.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. But he did explain to me and remind me of when I first started playing Mass Effect. He came over and like watched me play. And if you've ever watched someone start picking up RPG games, first-person shooter games, the beginning parts of combat are all the exact same as they're trying to figure things out, and they're just like, I can't figure out, why am I getting shot? Why am I getting shot? And he's like, I stood there and just let you figure that out silently. I said nothing. So you get to tell me how these puzzles go, and I'm like, that's very accurate.
I never thought about that. Like, that is a fucking curve, honestly. Like, for you to like try to adapt to all that, like usually a lot of people's like jump into video games, like you don't have the RPG aspect and shit. Like, man, wow, yeah, that's a lot of shit to learn at once, especially with something like Mass Effect. That's a big game. So
it was a big jump, and then I think once I jumped into Mass Effect and like fell in love with it, then the rest of the series was a lot easier, and then going to other video games from there was a lot easier. But it definitely took me the longest to get through that first game, just because I was learning all of the mechanics of video games for the first time. Thank God there were no QTEs. I would have just given the fuck up.
Oh man.
Love
That's
it.
crazy.
Scott has never called me woman. Oh my god.
That was funny. It's just because I know Scott. Like, if I didn't know Scott, it wouldn't have been as funny. But as you said it, I just picture Scott just being like, "Look here." It's just like, because like I can never get the playfulness, like puppy dog, out of like Scott. Whenever it comes to me thinking about Scott, like whenever I think about Scott, I remember the guy who got literally on all fours to crawl across my gigantic ass couch, because he was excited that we were going to sit down and watch a movie that he was interested in. Like, and just saw him just take off and cry. Like, that's what I think of whenever I think of Scott. So
that's not puppy dog. Like, he's literally doing what puppy dogs do.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I think when I think of Scott. So whenever we have these, like, conversations about, like, Scott flipping a table or some shit, it's like, it would just never happen. It would just never happen.
It wouldn't. Like I said, Scott's angriest he's ever been. He went, I think this is the angriest I've ever been. Totally neutral neutral tone. It wasn't raised. It wasn't even angry.
Man,
it was more
dude.
like an observation of like, wow, look at that. That's anger, huh? Isn't that neat? Like, my husband is a chill man, everybody.
Oh man,
Glorious thing.
That's great. Like I literally want to take some of my clips and send them to you recently of me playing Valheim and getting to a point where I'm somewhere I do not belong because I am way too underleveled for it and just getting fucking dominated by goddamn mosquitoes and trying to get back to my body. And I mean, it is just me screaming at the top of my lungs and I'm super fucking loud. Like super fucking loud. Like I get pissed.
Didn't you at one point didn't you lived in a condo at one point? Well, wasn't there a baby's room underneath you?
Yeah.
And you realized like maybe I shouldn't be screaming at 2 a.m. when there's a baby trying to sleep underneath my room.
You know.
See, you just shrug your shoulders to go, no, I knew there was, and
I knew there was,
care.
and I just I just still. It's one of those. It's the heat of the moment, you know. You get into a shooter game and you're fucking going, all of a sudden you just snipe down over, and you're like, fuck, and it just happens. It just fucking happens. Like it just happens, and there's just nothing you can do about it. No, nothing you can do about it. What's great is that like I've done a very good job of conditioning my child for that, so she just sleeps right through all that shit. She does not care. My house is always, because me and my partner were like from the get-go, we're like, we do not want to have one of those kids where it's like we invite everybody over and then the baby goes to sleep and it's like, everybody, we have to talk like this. The baby's asleep. Keep it down. And it's like, no one wants to be at that house. No one wants to be. It's like, everybody said, oh, we're going to party tonight, dude. We're going to be playing fucking whatever, board games. Yeah, we're going to be drinking. It's like, shh, I just put the kid down. Like, no one wants to be at that party. So I wanted to make sure that my kid was going to be conditioned for that. So there would be times where like the nurse would come in and she'd go to talk to her. She'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. And he'd be like, no, what's up? Go ahead. Yeah? No.
Do it.
Let's get loud. No. Yeah. No. We're definitely not doing that. So, yeah. No. Yeah. Lily doesn't give a shit. She sleeps right through all that shit. It doesn't matter. I think the only time I've ever startled her awake when she was in here is I had her like on my lap and I was playing something. And I didn't even yell, but I sneezed. So I sneezed real loud. She was just like, she's the fuck. Other than that, like I could do the fuck and shit like that, and she'll just sit there just like she just doesn't give a shit. It's great. Oh man, she cracks me up. But no, there's this fucking game that I wanted to fucking talk to you about, JoJo. And technically, I guess you, Kelsey, I don't think you play it, but I think you would think the concept is interesting. So. Trying to get a lot more like really decent roguelike games because I've gotten really back into roguelike. And I played this one called Rogue Legacy 2. Don't ask me about 1 because I guess it doesn't exist. I couldn't find out anything about 1. I was kind of interested to see where the game came from. Couldn't find it out. So, but anyways.
It's on Steam. I played it.
Rogue Legacy 1? Whenever I typed it in, it didn't come up. It literally would not come up for me.
Yeah.
So have you played the second one?
No, because it's in early access. I want to wait until it comes out.
Is it possible because you kept spelling it like Rouge?
No, because Rogue Legacy 2 came up.
I mean, it should be. I think it's in my Steam library. Let me take.
I literally could not get it to pop up. I literally typed in Rogue Legacy, and all that came up was Rogue Legacy 2.
Yeah, Rogue Legacy.
That first
right here.
It would not come up for me. Yeah. Only 2 came up. Like, kid you not, it literally just said one game, and it was just that one. I don't know.
It's right here on Steam.
Either way,
it does not look very hard.
It doesn't exist. All right, so I guess since you already know the game, because I'm going to take a wild guess that the first one is like the second one. Kelsey, the interesting aspect of this game that I thought was really cool is unlike Skull, where you get all these other skulls you could try on and be a different fucking kind of like warrior and shit. When you die, you're succeeded by your children. So you get to pick a different child to go through with. They're adults whenever you go to take them through the dungeon. But the cool part is like all the kids have pros and they also have cons. So like there's like hyperflagellance where you're just fucking farting and boosting yourself through the fucking levels. There's color blindness where you can't see colors. There's like one of my favorite ones that I got the other night was dwarfism and pacifist. So my character was this big, and they were running around with a peace sign instead of a sword, and they literally do not attack. You can't attack anybody at all. So, like, they're just completely fucking random. And the cool part is it kind of gets you out of your comfort zone because you unlock all these classes. And there's only a certain amount of characters you can pick. So, it's like 8 classes, but you can only pick 3 children. So, you'll have to, at some point, possibly play a class that you don't really play that much and have to explore with that class and go through the dungeon and shit like that with them. It's really fucking cool. There's a lot of really interesting, like, what was one of my... Oh, Vertigo is probably the worst one in the fucking game. Literally makes the entire game upside down. The entire game is upside down. Probably the worst one in the entire game. Oh my god, I hated that one. That one and Weak Muscles for me, I hated because there's these one enemies that fly at you and you hit them and it knocks them back because they're small. And then they come flying at you again and you hit them. But with Weak Muscles, you hit them, you still do the damage, but you don't have enough muscles to knock them back. So then they just keep hitting you while you're waiting to be able to hit them again. And it's like, dude, this is so fucking annoying. Oh, it's the worst. But it's such a fun game. I was having a lot of fun with it. There's just so many different things that you get, and it's fucking nuts. Oh my gosh.
I like the concept because it seems like it would be kind of consistently forcing you to become better at their specific game in unique and interesting ways. My only issue is with the children thing, like the fact that they are children, not you have a party of 4 and you're going to work through that party of 4. It's you've got a hero and then you got his little babies and you're going to kill those off too, and it's like, yeah.
Well, it's not, I mean, they're not babies.
Well, they're not babies.
Yeah. You know, you're always a full adult person.
Yeah, you're always an adult when you go through. So it's literally like an aspect of like your lifespan is the dungeon. When you die, your kids are now like, you know, trying to be the next leader. You choose which one you want to go through as the next warrior, and then so on and so forth, which I thought was pretty cool. But they have like a lot of really cool, funny jokes that I thought was awesome. Like, so you got the guy that takes you to the fucking, what's his name? The dude that takes you to the underground in Greek mythology.
Oh,
Chiron.
Chiron, yeah.
Yeah, Chiron. So he takes you to the king or to the castle where you do the dungeons and stuff, but you have to pay him money to do it. So whatever money you have, you give him. If you don't have anything, then he just fucking just takes you anyway, regardless. But basically, like that's how all roguelikes are. Like you have to give up all your money to go back into a dungeon. So it's like you spend everything you can, and then you just give up what you can't spend because everything's too expensive now. And then you try to get more money while you're in the dungeon, and then buy the more expensive shit when you get out. Well, they actually have. I kid you not, an offshore bank account is what it's called. It is it is a safe in a life preserver on the water because it is an offshore bank account. I thought that shit was amazing. I was so fucking happy when I saw that. So like you pay him, and then like there's I think one of the upgrades is called Better Lawyers, and so it starts taking more money from Chiron and putting it in the offshore bank account versus you just giving him a shit ton. Like it changes the percentages and stuff. There's another one where it's called Teaching Chiron to Be a Better Person, and so therefore like whenever you give him money, he starts actually permanently upping some of your stats and shit as you go through the game. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. So yeah, it's an interesting game. I've had a lot of fun with it. I mean, obviously it's just one of those grinding games where you're just trying to build it out, but it's pretty cool because like as you get the skills, like you're building your own castle. So it's like you're building this castle, you're, you know, getting all the shit you want. Like, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
That is neat. That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend that first one for sure. I mean,
you can't find it. It doesn't exist. So.
Okay, that's fine too. But yeah, it's one of those things where I don't want to play through it a bunch before it's done, because then when it's actually done, I won't want to go back to it. Like, I've had that.
Well, that or it's going to be like Rogue Heroes, where you get like all the way to the end and get stuck on something because it hasn't been officially put in the fucking game yet.
Also, at least I bet the Rogue Legacy developers are upfront about what isn't in the game.
Yeah.
At least.
Still salty?
They know what they're doing.
A little bit. I'm in the same boat with that and fucking Valheim at this point. Like I actually haven't played Valheim in like 5 days because I've just been doing so much shit, getting ready for fucking stuff here for Dead Funny and some solo content and stuff like that I've been working on. And like I literally haven't touched Valheim in like 5 days, and I was like, "Fuck, I really want to play Valheim." And I think it was like last night while I was editing some videos, I was literally watching a video talking about the roadmap, and all it was them being like, "So this is in the game, but you can't do anything with it yet." because we haven't gotten there. I was like, what? There's like another whole biome in the game that I have not seen yet. The Mistlands with all the spider webs. And there's no enemies. There's nothing there. There's no resources because they're like, we put it in there. We just haven't done anything with it yet. And it's just like, what? Oh my gosh. I hate games like that. It's like, I get it though. It's like, it's early access.
On at different times. Yeah, right. The thing that's good is that they say, hey, we're an early access game, not here's version 1.0.
Yeah.
It's a done game.
Because I feel like the version 1.0, that's you literally saying like, we had a deadline, we had to hit the deadline, we got enough of the game to pass, so we're going to throw it out, and then we'll put the rest of the game out in DLC, even though it already exists in the game now. We just didn't have time to finish it up before the game came out. Like, that to me is a really shitty thing to do. AKA Destiny!
It feels so much like oh wait, we thought we were going to get this done. We were really sure, man. Like 2 weeks left. We were pretty sure we were going to get this done, but then we ran out of time. Oops. And we don't have enough time to like put stuff in to tell you that we ran out of time. It sucked.
I mean, and the thing that fucking kicks me with that one still, and I always go back to fucking Bungie with Destiny on that one. Like, if I've ever heard a bigger crock of shit in my life, like, we didn't get to finish the game because our lead scriptwriter left the company and took his story with him, so we had no story. I do not buy that story at all. I do not. There's no fucking way. Like, that Activision, a gigantic gaming company, bought Bungie, a team whose whole fucking record is Halo, which is not a game to just laugh at. It is a AAA title. And was like, you know what? You guys have full reign over your story. We have zero rights to it. We don't even want rights to the game. No fucking way that happened. There's no way there wasn't something in their contract where he couldn't just run off and take the fucking game. Like, they would just let them work in that studio the entire time, make this game, and then be like, okay, crunch time, now I'm leaving and taking the game with me, and now we have to scramble and throw this real quick story together and throw it out there because we're that close to the deadline. There's no fucking way that happened. No fucking way.
So you think instead they didn't, and then they're just letting themselves suffer for what reason? Like,
I think that they had very high expectations. They did not meet the deadline because it pushed back multiple times, and Activision finally was like, you have to put something out. You have to put something out. Because where I get very skeptical with games is that if I buy a game, I shouldn't be able to walk up to the counter, buy a game, and then be offered DLC at the counter. There should not be DLC for a game that is releasing that day. This should not be a thing. That is you literally telling me you just chose not to put this in the game and charge me more for it. That's 100% what that is at that point. That is 100% bullshit. There's no fucking way. No fucking way. Because in that scenario, that means that's like you creating a video game, coming to me and saying, you know what, Chris, I want Dead Funny to publish this video game. Okay, cool. So I'm going to pay you a fucking salary to come here and make this video game. But you know what? I want all exclusive rights to my video game, all exclusive rights to the story, and at any point, I'm allowed to just walk. Even if, like, let's say our contract is 2 years and I don't have to produce the content until at the end of my 2-year contract. If I decide that fucking a year and 9 months goes by and I'm not happy, I can just take my entire story and walk. There's no way Activision signed that. Physically, no fucking way Activision signed that. I was like, yeah, sure, fuck it. No way. If it was like some indie gamer company, I would agree with you. But Bungie, who made fucking Halo, no fucking way. No fucking way. They knew for a fact Destiny was going to be something. There's no way Activision was like, fuck it. And then the dude just left and there was no repercussions. He took his entire game with him. No fucking way. No, don't believe it. Don't believe it.
I just assume not that he took the game with him, just that he
took his story.
It, and so
he took the story. They were not allowed to use the story. It's literally what they said. That's what they said in their actual release to the fans. Their little fucking Dear John letter, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's fucking dumb. It's so stupid. Like,
the only situation I can imagine is if it's like they got like some famous author to do it or something. It's like fucking Elden Ring with George R.R. Martin or something, where they make some weird deal.
I straight didn't know until like maybe a month ago that he was the person that was writing the story for that game, by the way.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I'm like, he can't even fucking finish Game of Thrones books. Like, we're not getting that game. Elden Ring is not happening. That game is not happening. It's not happening.
He can finish Elden Ring. He can do Elden Ring just fine because there's no pressure on Elden Ring. He can't finish Game of Thrones because he can't finish Game of Thrones. Like, there's no way to finish that's satisfactory in any way at this point. So,
I don't know. I'm not holding my breath for Elden Ring. That's all I'm saying at this point. With
like,
the way
Elden
he
Ring
released
is
those books, I'm not holding my breath on that one.
You could shit out anything for Elden Ring, and we don't know any better.
I guess. I don't know. But like I said, with the Bungie shit, the other reason why I'm skeptical of that is because that wasn't something they said to us when they were pushing it back. It was after the game released, and a lot of people bitch and complained that there was not enough content in the game for how long we had to wait for it. Then we got this whole soap opera story about this is why you don't have a lot of content. Because we were offered...
this asshole that left.
We were told that we were going to get a lot, and we barely got anything. The same thing happened with the second one. So that proved that they were full of shit. Because the same thing happened with the second one. The second one came out, and they're like, oh, it's going to be twice the content of the first one when it released. And it had less planets. Like, the first one released with 5 planets. The second one released with 3 planets. I'm like, what? It's not even close! What are you talking about? Fucking Destiny. I hate that game. I used to love Bungie. They were literally my favorite video game developers because they listened to their community. They actually looked at like what was actually criticism versus people just complaining. Actually made better choices whenever they did future development and patches and stuff like that. I used to love Bungie. They were my top. Now, fuck them. Don't care. Fuck them. Done with it. Square Enix till I die, baby. Square Enix till I fucking die. I'm okay with that. No problems. I don't know.
Oh, they make a mistake you don't approve of.
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't too happy about the remake part 1, and I'm still repping Square Enix, so. And I'm definitely not happy about fucking, what's that fucking thing called? Is it Ever Crisis? Is that what they're calling it?
Yes. Yeah. Ever Crisis, yeah.
I mean, you're going to give everybody the remake they wanted. You're going to incorporate all of the other games and the books and the movie into one game. It's exactly what the fan base wanted. But you're going to put it on the phone. Like, bro, yes, Ever Crisis is going to be the entire Final Fantasy VII compilation as a game. But it's on the phone. Your characters are all chibi until they get in battle, and then they look like they do in the remake. Outside of that, they're all chibi. So before Crisis, Crisis Core, Advent Children, Dirge, fucking all that shit. The game itself, 7, it's all going to be one whole game, but it's going to be on the phone.
Nope. Don't like that.
You weren't the only person. I was like, why couldn't you guys experiment with a new story on the fucking phone and give everybody what they wanted on the fucking console? Like, that makes more sense to me. But, it is what it is. JoJo tried giving me some bullshit reason I didn't want to hear at the time because I was just pissed off about how they're probably not even the ones that are doing it.
What was your non-bullshit reason, JoJo? I'll phrase this better.
The phone game is a phone game. Like, does not have the production value of like the remake. It's not the thing that you want really. Like, it's theoretically the thing you want in terms of the story stuff all being there, but like in terms of what they're actually making, they're making a cell phone game.
Yeah.
With reused assets. Like it's not, and like gotcha mechanics where you gotta get higher level weapons by rolling a thing to progress in the game. Like,
just swap the stories, dude. Man. That's all I'm asking for. Just swap the stories. That's all I'm asking for. That's it, dude. That's all I'm asking for. Oh man. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know. All I know is that I was super excited for the Square Enix thing until I read what they were releasing, and I was like, there is not a single Final Fantasy piece of news on this, and I still watched it. I was bored, but I watched it. So
yeah, I mean, that was not a Japanese event. Aside from,
I mean, is Life
maybe one? Life is Strange is like Canadians or something.
As someone who didn't know what you were talking about, it was, this is not a Japanese event. Is life? I don't know. Life might be Canadian. Like, that made no fucking sense.
So, Is Life Strange is the name of the game that I was going to say, but I was letting JoJo finish what he was saying, which is why I stopped. But Is Life Strange, is like that even still like a big deal? Like, I feel like that fell off a long time ago.
It's people weren't super into the second game, I think, but like there's only been 2.5 games, so
I know it was like it was popular when Telltale games were popular. Like that's what it is. It's a Telltale game. It's 100% what it is. But yeah, because fucking we did a couple episodes for the channel until I found out regardless what episode I put up, there's going to be somebody's music in there somewhere. So we just kept getting copyrights every fucking episode I put up in multiple spots. So I was like, I'm just done. I'm just fucking 2 episodes. I'm done with this. Like more than half the time, me and Dylan were talking, trying to do commentary over the fucking music, and that wasn't good enough. So it's like if I silence the music, I silence commentary. So then you're just watching like 15 minutes of a game, and there's just silence, and you just me and Dylan just like.
That's not
good. It's not fucking. It's not worth it. So I don't know, man. And I have zero interest. I have zero interest in Ballin. Like I have zero interest in Ballin.
Oh, they show that? Yeah, that they put out a demo for that, and it's like a fucking mess. The game is like a weird disaster that like controls like a phone game for some reason, but also the world like is squiggly in a way that makes you kind of nauseous. It's weird. That game is weird.
I have zero interest in it. Zero. Outriders didn't look bad, but I don't know. I feel like it's a game that's been done 1,000 times. You know, like it seems like another Destiny to me. It feels like it's a game that's been done 1,000 times.
Game. That's what you can say. Like that's a video game. There's guys and and there's guns and cover and numbers come out of dudes when you shoot them, and then you get better guns with numbers to put more numbers out of the guys. Yeah, like it's probably fine.
Oh. Returnal. That was the name of that one fucking game, right? That I said had the stupid fucking title during the state of play. Returnal. Wasn't that it? With the astronaut chick? Kelsey, you need to look up Returnal. I think you would actually like that game. It's a roguelike game, but like the graphics are like super like Mass Effect looking like and the chick is this astronaut, and there's like this whole like psychological thriller aspect to the game going on and stuff that the players have to figure out. And it's like one of those where like you go, like if you die, you start all the way back over again and have to try to like figure shit out. Every playthrough is always different. Enemies will never be in the same spot. Different enemies can be in completely different spots. Like it's supposed to be really good. Just the name sucks. Returnal just sounds so stupid to me. But, yeah. But like she's like on an alien planet. She's walking through, and all of a sudden she sees like off in the mountains her childhood house. Like she's actually having like psychological problems and shit. Like while she's on this fucking place, and you're trying to figure them out. And I was like, bro, this game looks the combat looks so good. It's so fast, so fluid. Like it looks amazing. Just
the pictures I can see look really good. Like it does look Mass Effect-y in its graphics, and yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah. I really want to play that one, but like I said, the name is so dumb.
What were you gonna say, JoJo?
Kel, did you have you played Control?
No, Scott just got it, so I think he's gonna mess around with it, and then I might give it a shot.
That game is kind of incredible. You should check that out.
Okay.
It's got a really fascinating story and world. And you can throw stuff at people. You got like telekinetic powers. You can pick up a bench and throw a bench at a guy, and that's always good fun.
I mean, that's what I live for. Friday night, I want to throw a bench at a guy.
Yeah. I was doing it for a week.
Sounds great.
It's great.
I'm just trying to picture like Kelsey physically lifting a bench and throwing it at a person, just a random person.
See,
and then they getting hit by it.
Makes it seem more impressed with me lifting a bench, and it seeks more like, I don't think you can lift a bench. I think that's what you're telling me right now.
I mean, I'm not even sure I can lift the bench personally. Like, benches are fucking heavy. Not to mention, most of them are like fucking like drilled down into the fucking ground. They're like not moving anywhere. Yeah. Like, I'm not sure I can. It has nothing to do with you. I'm just like, fuck. And it was more about the fact of hitting a random guy and then him like getting up and you just like, it's Friday night, bitch, and then just moving on.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Oh God, no. I could never hit a random guy with a bench. I could hit somebody I knew and was mad at. No, I couldn't. I don't even know what I'm saying. That's not accurate either.
It's always someone you know.
That's the fun part. Yeah.
God, no.
That's just so and so. They'll get over it. It's all right.
Never mind. I can't hit someone with a bench. That's not a good Friday night. That's terrible.
Man, dude, I've never seen Kelsey run backwards from a conversation. She was so eagerly to jump in there for a second.
You know how you say things with
traumatized by things fictional you did.
Yeah, I was picturing fictional me hitting a fictional person that I know with a bench, and it was very upsetting. Feel bad.
I will say the props that I give you is that whenever I saw issues with the scenario that I was conducting in my head there, that you immediately went to being offended that I was saying that you couldn't pick up a bench. So I give you props for that. That was pretty great. I didn't think that you were going to go there. I thought I'd be like, why would you think I would just hit somebody with a bench? First you're like, I can't pick up a fucking bench. And then I started thinking about it, I'm like, I don't even think I can pick up a bench. Like, I don't know. Can you? Fuck.
Big, scary, beefy arms. Straight up do not.
Oh my god. That's great.
But now if I'm on a run or something and I see a bench and it's not bolted down, I'm gonna try to pick up that bench.
Kelsey's gonna walk over there to the bench. She's gonna look left, look right, make sure nobody's around, try to lift the fucking bench up in the air.
If you
She's gonna turn it on its side.
With a bench over my shoulder, it's because of this conversation.
She's gonna lift it over on its side, take a picture, send it to me in Slack, and say, "Look, asshole." First thing I'm gonna do is, where was Scott? Oh my god, that's funny. That's funny. Oh man. But anyways, we get to the end of this podcast here. Just go ahead and wrap her up. If you enjoyed this content, make sure you like and subscribe. Also, turn on the notifications. That way you can notify next time we upload another video. Hit us in the comments section below. Let us know your thoughts on who you think could lift a bench. Team Chris or Team Kelsey. Probably Team Kelsey. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go ahead and concede that Team Kelsey would probably win.
You're being very kind on that one. You know what? We're both just going to try to lift benches in our spare time.
We'll just do it together. Yeah, fuck it. We'll just lift a bench at the same time, and then we'll just call it a win. It was a draw.
Yeah, teamwork.
We're all in quiet agreement. There's no Team JoJo. I'm not lifting a bench.
I was gonna let you decide to cheer on yourself,
man,
and then
dude.
I was gonna cheer.
I know what I'm about.
JoJo dude's like, I know what I'm not included. That's pretty good. But we also have the Twitter and the Twitch links down there as well. Make sure that you go by and stop by. Watch some of us play some video games, or you got a more direct form of communication. But at the end of all this, hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next time.